Good evening and welcome to CSL on the Lake. Let's begin in consciousness. As I take a moment and relax, what I know is that there's a power for good in the universe that's infinite, intelligent, and creative, everywhere present, all-knowing, all-powerful. So I breathe life into this moment and know that this service this evening is truly a gift. And that as we come together, we do so in harmony, in joy, in celebration of this human experience that we're all sharing. The spiritual aspect of it and the ways in which we are dynamic, creative beings. So filled with love and peace and gratitude, I release these ideas into the law of mind, knowing that all is well and that whatever needs to be said is said, whatever needs to be heard is heard. I let go and let it be, and so it is. And now, Rosanna, with our land acknowledgement.
We work, live, and play on the historical and traditional territory of many First Nations. As we gather on Turtle Island, we as settlers are grateful for the opportunity to meet here, and we thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years, including the Metis, Inuit, and all other Indigenous people, also acknowledging that as we continue to grow and expand on these lands, there is still unresolved and dangerous inequality and discrimination towards our BIPOC and 2SLGBTQ plus family. By making these acknowledgements, we strive to be allies and take an active part in reconciliation. We recognize our oneness, we realize our history, and we choose to create new reality.
I've never got it first.
We are one. Our vision is transforming humanity through the emergence of the sacred, authentic self. Our mission is to welcome you as you are, where you are, without judgment or criticism, providing a sacred place of learning and growing as you seek to achieve your greatest dreams. We accomplish this by offering Science of Mind classes, social events, inspiring workshops, thought-provoking services, and practitioner support. We honor the revelation of your emerging sacred, authentic, sacred self through our positive messaging and loving support. Let us now prepare for meditation with Rico.
Thank you, Rosanna. I invite you now to close your eyes, feel your feet firmly on the floor. Just become aware of your breath, your breathing. Allow yourself to accept your imagination's invitation to join it on this journey, this human journey, this hero's journey. Imagine, if you will, a time before electricity. Life was simple. Your needs were simple. A candle was a precious commodity. The flame of a candle being the only source of light. And you were born in a small village and having been entrusted with keeping and preserving the community fire, the single fire that serves the entire village. This fire is the source of all comfort and joy, a fire that must be tended to every day and must never be extinguished, or the entire village would suffer in cold and darkness. So every night as the sun sets, you carry fire to each inhabitant so that they may see. And everyone appreciates you and your ability to share and preserve the well-being of the village. You're a hero to them, admired and respected, and of course, you enjoy the honor bestowed upon you. And one day, a great storm comes, a storm that will be talked about for years to come, ice pellets the size of rocks, and with heavy winds and rain, it drowns the fire that you have preserved since you were a child. Chaos ensues. The darkness is overwhelming for everyone, and so you set out in search of new fire. And for days you walk, the sun beats down, drying the earth. You become parched and exhausted. You fall down, collapsing on the open road. Then, once again, the weather changes. This time, a heavy cloud with no rain. The wind picks up, waking you and sending you for cover under a cluster of trees, when overhead you hear the rumblings of thunder. Quickly, lightning strikes in the distance. You hear the crashing of trees. The thunder claps overhead again. This time the lightning is immediate, crashing near you, splitting a tree in the near distance, and flames immediately engulf the collapsed tree. Fire surrounds you. Now there is no escape. As the flames come closer, you feel the heat against your skin. It begins to burn. It becomes unbearable, agonizing, and in a last desperate act, you confront the flames and surrender to its power. And then with equal strength, you demand it to serve you. And as you say the words, "Serve me," in an instant, the sound of wind and flames become muted. There is only silence. You hear the sound of your breathing, deep inhales and long exhales. And before you appears a wooden staff. A staff, it calls out to you. You pick it up and place the end of it into the engulfing flames as it catches and becomes a light-bearing torch. And as quickly, the forest fire recedes away, clearing a path home. You're a hero. The people are saved. You can hardly wait to return home. As you approach your village, you hear the cheers from your friends and family. Those who come close to you feel your warmth. There's something different about you, yet no one can say what it is. And yet their only concern is the fire you carry. Some run to you with their candles, starved for light, but each candle you light melts in an instant. Each candle melts as you try to light it, so you stop, and everyone around you becomes angry, demanding answers, demanding that you share your flame with them. They begin to pull at you, wanting your stick for themselves. The villagers begin to scream and shout at you. You don't understand what they're saying. It's all now mumbles and incoherent noise. So you offer up your torch willingly and generously, and when you do, in an instant, the flame goes out. Again, they blame you. They pick up the extinguished staff and throw it away, condemning it. And you wonder, how is it that you could lose something so precious so quickly? All you've gone through, all the pain and suffering, wasted. And in a panic, you run toward the abandoned staff and pick it up, and only in your hand does it reignite. It is for you to hold. You cannot share it, even if you want to. Most of the villagers walk away disappointed and angry, leaving only a few to settle around you, feeling your warmth as the sun sets one more time. And now I invite you to open your eyes and hear this inspiring and very energetic song by Leanne Womack, followed by the Rebel Bar.
Well, I hope you dance. I really hope you do. I think that's a great choice, is to just allow ourselves to fully play in the experience that is living. I just want to take a moment as we start today to acknowledge Juneteenth. June 19 marks emancipation from chattel slavery and the long and violent struggle for Black people to be recognized as equally human. While this is not an official holiday in Canada, it is significant for thinking about the history of race relations, and education. And so I just take a moment to know that we are on the road to acknowledging our oneness for real. All right, the human journey. Oh my gosh, this is a big topic. You know, it's interesting as we move along, we come into life, these little itty bitty things, and we're given to people who may or may not be prepared to take good care of us. And they will tell us all manner of stuff about ourselves. Probably most of it not true, because they want to make us into something, doctors, lawyers, whatever. So the journey that we're on, especially as we get to an age, is to remember. And part of that remembering requires kind of forgetting what we were told in the past and moving into a new experience. And as we journey along, especially when we get on the spiritual path, we come into information that might be new to us. Maybe it expands our awareness and our understanding of life and living. And as we begin to expand that, we start to see the universe in a new way. And what we teach here is that there is only one thing going on, that all of us are living, moving, and having our being within this one thing. So everything is connected. Everything is connected. So whatever's going on in life is happening through us. And when we look at the world around us, it seems so real and we react to it. But we have a choice. We have a choice to look at what's already been created and call it good or bad, right or wrong, or we can look at what's already been created and ask ourselves in this moment, is this the truth about me right here, right now? And we can choose to begin to see ourselves in a new light. And I think what we want to do, especially as we begin, is to start to see the essence of who we really are, because we are more than this, way more than this. So if you take a look at the journey that we've walked so far, I look at, when I first started learning this teaching, when I was becoming a practitioner, oh man, I knew it all. It was great. It's funny how you know it all, and then all of a sudden you realize you know nothing. The older I get, the less I know. It's perfect. But what I discovered was, wow, I had this great teaching, and it could create healing, and it could do all kinds of great things. And so I looked at the world around me and I thought, I can fix this. I can make it better. I can change it. I can alter it. No, I can't do any of those things. Can't do any of those things. But in my mind, I thought I could. And there was times when I would pray with people or work with people, and man, shifts would happen. Their lives would begin to move and change. And it was like miraculous. And I loved it. And a part of me was looking at the world as if it needed to be fixed, as if it was broken. I was looking at the world like somehow it was my job to make it better, make it brighter, make it, I don't know, make it something. But the reality is that it is what it is. So when I look at the world today, I have a different perspective. What I know is that each one of us comes into life fully formed. We come in as these complete, unique, special beings. And there's something that we bring with us that is unique to us, that only we can bring into humanity at this time, or into the universe at this time. The way that we do it is unique to us. So every one of 8 billion people, every single one is special. Everyone is valuable. Everybody has a little something that they bring that nobody else could bring in the manner that they do. And it's up to us to let that light shine, to hold that torch, to allow that light to illuminate the world, and to create not changes, but a willingness to be where we are as we are in this moment. Now is the only point and the only time that exists is now. So if we're living in the present, if we're allowing ourselves to be focused on what's going on inside of us first and foremost, as we do that inner journey, right? When we're walking the path, it's an inner spiritual journey. We go within and we discover who we really are. Now that requires that we remove a few veils. We'll call them veils, those things that people applied to us when we were little. Don't do this, that's wrong, that's bad. No, you're terrible, you're awful, you're an idiot. Like, I don't know who all heard some of these things, but I know some of us did. And we took it on and we owned it, and we went, whoa, that must be true. Because when we looked at mom and dad or older siblings or teachers or powers that be, we would look at them as God, right? All powerful, all knowing, and definitely everywhere present. Well, anywhere we were making a mistake, they were present. And what we do is we took that on and we believed it. We believed it. We thought it was true for real. And it wasn't, because see, nobody knows you except you. And odds are pretty good if we've bought into all of that, well, we don't know ourselves either. So the journey that we're on is we're walking this path. We are coming to discover ourself. And as we discover ourselves and begin to like it, because you know that stuff that you've called bad and wrong and awful, terrible, you know that part of you that maybe you were ridiculed about or teased about or bashed about because of. When you take that and you put it with your beautiful light, what you get is the wholeness of your being. The two together make you exactly who you were in the beginning. It brings you back to that glorious, dynamic, unique, special self that the world is craving at this time. It's you. You're the one. You're the one that we've been waiting for. You're the consciousness that lifts everything. You're the one that makes the difference. Not your neighbor, not your friend. It's you. You're it. And as we come to understand that within me, there is this infinite potential, that's what we're tapping into. That's what we're learning here. We're not learning that we can change what's already been done. We're not looking at fixing the world. The world is a reflection of consciousness. How do we change the world if we don't like the way it looks? We go within ourselves and we shift our own personal consciousness. And as we shift that consciousness, we begin to radiate a different energy, a different possibility. And as we do that, we lift. We create space for everyone. The idea of envy and jealousy shifts away and moves. The idea of I'm better than you are, all of a sudden that moves and we move into collaboration rather than competition. We choose to support one another and discover the gifts and talents that each other has. And there's real love that gets expressed and experienced, and it's truly remarkable. The human journey is really about remembering who we were when we entered. Because that's us. That's the perfect us. We're created perfect, whole, and complete. Like this universe is intelligent and creative, and it made us. And well, the way it made us was fine. And some of us are funny, and some of us are deliberate, and some of us are really intentional, and some of us are very wild and creative. And all of it is necessary. All of it is necessary. The journey that we're seeking, the things that we desire in life are at the core of our being. And if we will just drop our attention from the ego space that wants to control, manipulate, and be better than, when we get rid of all of that and we drop our awareness into our heart center, into that space where the true memory of our divinity lives. When we drop our awareness there, we begin to see that the only thing that exists is love. And by love, I don't mean that thing. I'm talking about oneness, acceptance. That is our point of power. That is the place where we shine. Many years ago, I had a spiritual epiphany. Went to church one night because my mother-in-law made me do it. I wanted her to like me, so I went. It's like, okay, I can endure an hour. I didn't like church much. And I got there, and when I went in, I would say I was in complete darkness. And when I left, I was in the light. I had a complete transformation of consciousness that allowed me to see that divine essence, that knowing. And I stayed in that church for about 1.5 years, and then I had to leave because they were teaching me that we were the only ones who could ever go to heaven. I thought, well, that can't be right. There's a whole lot of good people out there, and I'm sure some of them are going to get in. That's in the days when I actually believed there was a place called heaven. What I believe now is heaven is a state of consciousness. Today, I'm experiencing heaven. Tomorrow, I could very well be experiencing hell. Wherever I am is where I am. And if I can allow myself to be where I am, to experience what I'm experiencing, to allow the feelings to flow, the contrast between, we'll call it heaven and hell, a good day and a bad day. The contrast is what creates life, creates experience. We're here because we can experience. The only way to experience anything is through those contrasts. We wouldn't know peace if we hadn't experienced anger. We wouldn't know love if we hadn't experienced indifference. We wouldn't know up if we didn't see a down. Like there's this contrast that creates color and flavor and possibility in this life experience. Now, we don't always like it. That's okay. What we're here to do, we are being either pushed, pulled, or invited into. And it's up to us. Our resistance creates a persistent, we'll call it a hell experience. And when we let go of our resistance, we move into a flow with this universal energy. And in that place, we begin to flow and move. It doesn't mean everything looks, roses and sunshines. Remember, it takes a lot of bullshit to create beautiful roses. And kind of life is like that. We have the up and the down. We have the difficulty and the challenge and the joy and the light. We have moments that allow us to really experience the fullness of what it means to be human. And being human is probably not the easiest thing a spiritual being could have chosen. But man, it's fun. Man, it's fun. It has its moments. And when we have those dark days and then all of a sudden the sun is shining again, it's like, yes, let's dance. There's something that happens that we can open up to and awaken to and allow. We are here to live, not to put in time. We're here to live. And it is my sincere hope that if you get the chance, you'll dance. Let us go into breakout rooms and just have a little discussion with each other about life. And before we do that, we're just going to talk about some intentions so that we're clear about this conversation that we're going to have. So our intentions, I'm just going to get it in a bigger format so I can read it easier. I am creating a divine space of understanding, love, and compassion for each person to share their beliefs and perspectives in this experience. I'm speaking and acting for myself personally and not for others, and will share my truth honestly and respectfully. I'm trusting that this is a safe place to step outside my comfort zone, or rather my familiar place. I'm keeping my opinions and advice to myself and will not crosstalk nor give advice or suggestions. I'm keeping confidential what's shared here, and I'm ensuring that each participant has equal time to share. I'm lightening up and I am joy. All right, so there's 4 questions to ponder. And of course, you can talk about anything else that's kind of struck you during the talk. Number 1, is there any area of your life that you'd like to change? What is your purpose in life? What do you fear? And what do you seek?